You are one decision away from manifesting your dream life, because one decision can really change your life. But to make that decision, universe is going to put you in situations, in challenging situations, like many other people, such as the mother of the freedom movement, Rosa Parks, who decided to stay seated in a bus and refused to give her seat to a white man. This one decision defied racial segregation laws, which led to the Montgomery bus boycott, which was a pivotal moment in the civil rights movement. Not to that extent, but I remember in 2020, I left my work crying because I really had a bad day at work. I was working at a job that was toxic. The employer was toxic. I cannot forget this day because I remember my partner picked me up, and within 2 minutes in the car, I started crying. I was crying like a little kid who's not happy with the toys he has. I was crying so loud because I was so upset. I was so filled with anger, with sadness, that we had to park the car in a random parking lot. And I was so embarrassed because I normally don't show people my weak side, and which is, again, is not a really healthy thing. But at that time, but that is like almost 5 years ago, I was just so embarrassed. I was feeling guilty. I was questioning all my decisions and where I was in my life. And I hated almost everything in my life because I was so tired of taking crap from people who don't add anything in my life. I was so tired of doing the same thing, meaningless work that I knew that it's not gonna take me anywhere. So that day, I made a decision that I am going to quit this job as soon as I can, and I'm going to start what I like. I'm going to start sharing what I know, what I like to do, what is my passion. So within a month, I had a fight with my employer and I said, I quit. I am done. I am not working at this place anymore. And the reason I had to stay at this place was because of my permanent residence in Canada, because he was giving me the experience. And that's the only reason I had to stay in that place. And that's why I was so stuck in a reality, and I did not see that I would be able to come out of it. And I remember the day I left this place, in the evening I went home, I applied for many jobs, and in the morning I had a job interview. And you know what happened? I got this job the next day. I had a new job that was way better than my previous job, and I was already taking steps to start my business, to create content, to do what I like. Even though it took me 2 years of going back and forth, finding work, and then again focusing on my business. And last year I finally was able to go full-time in my business. The reason I'm sharing this story is because I know that many of you are in a similar situation, and I understand because it sucks. It sucks really hard. And I know that you've been thinking about making that decision, the big decision. But I also know that your inner critic, those voices in your head, are telling you to play safe, telling you that everything in your life is dependent on this one big decision, is trying to keep you safe. And you need to understand that this is really the purpose of our brain, our mind. It's always trying to keep us in that survival state, in that safe environment. But you know that the environment you're in, it's not safe for you. You're just used to that environment. So to come out of that environment, to come out of that reality, you need to make that decision. What I'm trying to say here is that we all are scared of the unknown. It is normal to feel scared. But would you rather stay in this reality where you are not happy, where you are suffering, and not make a decision, or make a decision and you don't know the future? You create the future. So with that conscious intention, with your action, you can guide your future. You are where you are right now, and you cannot do anything about it. All you have to do is to accept that this is a shitty situation and I am in this situation. Now, what I'm gonna do about it? If you always see that I wish I had that, I wish I wouldn't have made that decision, that will always keep you sad. That will always make you depressed. Sometimes we are our own worst enemies, and we stop the blessings to come in our life because we have created this protection around us, and we think that this is the best thing for us. But deep down, if you really ask yourself, you ask your heart, what do you really want to do? You would hear that answer. And that voice is way louder than your inner critics. If I hadn't made a decision, I would have been living a similar life. I really thank God that I made that decision, that experience happened to me, because otherwise I would have kept going because things were okay, if not the best. But that experience had to happen in order for me to make my decision, to live the life that I enjoy. You don't have to leave your job or leave someone, but the only way you're going to succeed is when you make that decision. Because life is too short to regret later in life that you coulda, woulda, shoulda. I really believe in you and I love you.